G'day and welcome back to the wood shop. In this episode of my build series on my Paul Sellers plywood workbench, I'm going into a bit of detail about how I made this work surface here, which is made of laminated ply. Some of the ups and downs of making this out of the cheap plywood that I picked up on the side of the road. So I'm just going to tidy up one of the edges just so I get a good reference edge, and then I'm going to switch to this blade here, which is 100 tooth.
Mr. Wooden, cha-coom, cha-boom, pow.
So this is what I've ended up with after all that cutting. This piece here is more like a boomerang than a piece of a workbench. Apart from the aprons, I have all the pieces I need for the workbench. But what I'm going to do now is just go through and organize these the nicest way, avoiding voids and trying to conceal some of the burn that I got from the blade when I was cutting. I'm gluing this one up in 3 stages. I've got 24 of these strips to glue together, and I divided it into 3 lots of 8, which comes to about 6 inches. And that means I'll be able to run them over my 6-inch jointer and then glue these 3 together to make the bench. So I was doing the second lot yesterday and I ran out of glue. Ran out of normal glue, I ran out of imported glue. And I managed to find a little bit in this one and get the job finished. Anyway, so I've gone and gotten more, and so I'm back on track to have 3 of these together, and once I get them jointed and flat, maybe thicknessed as well, I'll be able to glue them together and have my what will amount to the first half of the bench, the front half. Probably worth explaining at this point why I thought I needed to run those slabs over the jointer. The reason for it is that when I glued them up, due to the strips being bowed and some of them were twisted and otherwise in general deformed and not very pretty, when I clamped them, the pressure of the clamps and the pressure of the wood movement made some of the strips pop up above the others, and some of them popped down. So I had pop-ups and pop-downs, divots I guess you could call them, or grooves in the surface. And that kind of became difficult to repair at the time with a mallet or something, because the glue had already started to go off. And I thought it would not be a problem to run them over the jointer and just clean them up. And well, it didn't quite go down that way. I hacked away at this slab with a hand plane 2 or 3 times over the next few days, and I thought I was getting close, but I just never got there in the end. It just wasn't happening, so I decided to move on to something different, and I mounted the slab on a board, and I planned to run it through the table saw, cut off as much as I could, and then hand plane the rest down to that line. So you can see what I'll be cutting off. Cutting off very little on this end and quite a lot in the middle because it bows out, and then less down this end. And that's going to get me back to straight for about the bottom half of my piece here, up to this line here. That's how far the saw reaches. And well, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know how small my workshop is. This is what happened, and it's quite long, and donk. Not such a big problem over that side. Also, donk. So I'll do this tomorrow. I'm going to take the saw out of the workshop, take it into the main part of the garage where the car usually goes, and I'll do the cuts out there, and I should get this thing straightened up. Consequently, I put these slabs down and I didn't touch them for the next 3 months.
Many months later.
Finally got this big ugly mess glued up, and it is super ugly and super heavy. And what I'm going to do now is try and flatten it, and I'm going to use a router flattening jig to do that.
Mr. Wood. Mr. Wood. Mr. Wood. Mr. Wood.
Is it recording? So now that I've got all the flattening done, and I've sanded it with 60, 80 and 120 grits, it's actually looking not bad, and my enthusiasm for this project has greatly improved. I've just got to take care of a few voids in the plies, and I'm just going to use glue for that, and that way I keep the expenditure on this bench down to purely just glue. I've already used about 2 full bottles laminating the boards together. And I've just gone down to Bunnings and got a new bottle, and I'm just going to fill up the voids with glue. This Sally's Aquadia glue dries clear. It doesn't dry yellow, so it's almost invisible actually, and it looks quite nice, and I think it's going to just take care of a few of the dings and the little holes where a few nails have been, and a few of the natural voids that are actually all over this crappy plywood. And I think it's going to come up looking okay. Well, I went nuts on the glue. I've covered pretty much the whole surface. And I'm going to come back before it gets too hard and just try and scrape off the exposed glue before it gets rock solid, because that would be a real headache to get off. I scraped a lot of it off with this big chisel here. So I've ended up doing a shitload of planing on this bench top, and that was mainly to get rid of the discoloration that the glue introduced into the ply layers, which made it look like green snot or green mold. And after putting in a bit more time with sandpaper and hand planes, it came up looking pretty good, I think. It's not going to win any beauty contests, but it's a workbench and I'm pretty happy. If you haven't subscribed already, do that now, because I've got a few more videos in this series. I've got building the legs with some massive mortise and tenon joints. I've got putting on the well at the back of the workbench, the apron at the front, and I got a big old record wood vise with a quick release that I install on the front left next to the leg. And all that's coming up on the channel, so I hope you stay tuned, and I'll see you on the next one. The next video is flattening this thing with a router jig. Cheers guys.